The Expendables 4. We have reached this moment. I reviewed the first three, and now I'm reviewing the new one, the fourth one, and I'm reviewing it after having seen. I released a list of my favorite critics, and two of like the top three have put this. One put it at the very worst, ranked it as their number one, and the other one put it at number two of their worst lists of the year. And I watched it still, trying with an open mind. Um, did I like it? Let's find out. Let's go on this journey together. It's from the director who brought us earlier this year. He brought Hidden Strike, which was a film with Jackie Chan and John Cena. A film that was all right, but it was made better by its stars. It's a film that feels just sort of like but it's a film that you go there for the stars, and we used to do that all the time, like back when uh, we actually had box office stars. We did kind of write relatively generic plots and kind of recycle them. And sometimes we were able to build franchises around that. Lethal Weapon, the plots are not necessarily that amazing, but we just put Mel Gibson with Danny Glover and it just worked out. And we're like, okay, this works. Um, and tried to put competent direction behind it, and brought in Joe Pesci and Rene Russo and some other people, and it just kind of fleshed out the series. Um, so that is kind of like how I felt like Hidden Strike could have been, sort of like that. Reminded me of how we used to do that, how we used to just take two stars and put them together, especially with Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan's been plugged against everybody. Um, but then this guy also did Need for Speed and Act of Valor. So there's your point of reference. Um, and also, I gotta say, I there's no way to really talk about this film without at least mild spoilers. I'm gonna keep it really mild, but I'm gonna say something that may or may not upset you. So, but I have to say, everybody else has said it. It's kind of what the film is about. So, but the trailers kind of don't necessarily let you know that that's what the film is about, but that's what the film is actually about. So, this film stars, I'll give you a hint, this film stars Jason Statham, uh, Dolph Lundgren, Megan Fox, Randy Couture, uh, 50 Cent, Tony Jaa, um, the guy Ego something from The Raid. I'm sorry, I don't know. I don't pronounce his name very well, and I'm not going to butcher it. And Andy Garcia, because he's a badass, and also Sylvester Stallone. So that's your hint. So what Expendables 4 is about, or Expend Floorblades, is that there's a mission, because there's always a mission, and they've chosen to accept it. These guys are like the bad version of the Suicide Squad, and they are sent off to do a mission, and things go awry, and the mission is not completed, and the Expendables have to move on without the leadership of Sylvester Stallone. So the buck is passed to Statham to be the lead of the film. I'm trying to do this in the best way possible. Um, and Statham has brought into the film his girlfriend, played by Megan Fox, who is 19 years younger than Jason Statham. So great casting choices we've made here. Not only is she not an action star, she's nowhere near his age. Um, and so but then Statham gets like fired from the I didn't realize we could do that considering Dolph Lundgren is still in the Expendables, but then they like fire him. So he's like off on his own, trying to do his own thing. And the remaining Expendables, which don't even look like the Expendables, and we haven't really done a good job of like introducing them or explaining what happened to the others. Where did everyone else go? Why do we keep introducing people, and why can't they stay in this franchise? Like, why? Where did they go? Um, why is it that the only returning original Expendables are Jason Statham, Dolph Lundgren, and Randy Couture? Why is that a thing? So everyone else has vanished from this franchise, and instead they got 50 Cent, Megan Fox, Andy Garcia. So Andy Garcia kind of takes over the role of leader, sort of, because he's, I guess, the oldest one, technically. Um, and they go back out on the mission to try to complete the new mission, and things go awry. But luckily, Jason Statham wasn't there, so now Jason Statham gets to carry the film and then save the day. He gets to rescue the Expendables again, which is what we did in the third film, by the way. We already did that, followed that plot once before, where we recruited a bunch of new people who sucked, and then we had to go rescue them with the old Expendables. Except for this time around, two of the older original Expendables got stuck with the new group that is awful, and they all got trapped together. So I kind of see why people don't like this, because it kind of feels like the Expendables 3, but with Jason Statham as the lead. And I don't want to completely trash this movie. I think what's really important, and I think even one of the other critics that I really like pointed it out, that Jason Statham is really trying here. He showed up. He's not just collecting a paycheck. He actually showed up, excited to be in Expendables 4. And he is great in this, actually. He's better in this than he was in the Meg 2. In the Meg 2, I don't think he knows what he's doing in the Meg 2 because the script is so bizarre. But here, this feels pretty much like he's like, I'm in my home court. I've got home court advantage. I know this character. I know Lee Christmas. I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. And he absolutely takes over. He even brings a sort of like the right level of emotion to the role. It's just everybody else gets so lost here. And then I'm just like, why is Megan Fox here? And they try to describe like one of the action sequences that she has where she's like kicking people over the head. And I'm like, man, I wish I could see that, because there's nothing in her film resume that suggests that she has any ability to do that. So I know one of the reasons why a lot of people don't like this is because the visual effects and the fight sequences look awful. I have a feeling that looked awful. She's able to like swing over someone's head or something. I don't know. It was weird how it was described, and I was like, I've never seen her do anything like that before. She runs from Transformers. This is not her genre. What happened to Ronda Rousey? Where did she go? She was alive at the end of Expendables 3. Where did she go? I know that we canceled Gina Carano, but honestly, if she had popped up instead of Megan Fox, the movie would have been better for it. If you just need a female, there are other females who are action stars. Go get Xena. Where is Xena at? I know she's older, but... And it's not that I hate Megan Fox. I don't hate Megan Fox. When used appropriately, Megan can be quite effective. And she was in it's not Friends with Benefits, Friends with Children. She was in a movie with like John Hamm, and she plays anyway, she was in that movie. She was good in that, and it wasn't an action movie, it wasn't anything, but she was just used appropriately. She was exactly what they were looking for that role, and she did the role really well. So Can't think of the name of the film. It was kind of a little indie film. Anyway, um, 50 Cent is wasted here on any level. His character makes no impact, and he's just kind of like there to be 50 Cent. He's not really given any great lines. He's not really given anything to do. He just kind of he rounds out the cast. He collected a paycheck. Um, at least Randy Couture and Dolph Lundgren each have moments where they're like thrown a bone that's of like some interest potentially to the audience. Andy Garcia is the least surprising thing. I knew where they were going with this, and there was nothing about his character that surprised me at all. Um, the plot is kind of boring. They underused Tony Jaa. I wish they used him more. I also don't know what happened to Jet Li, but anyway. But God, getting Tony Jaa and Jet Li in the same movie together in this would have been the two of them like running down and doing a fight sequence together. Done. Unfortunately, Tony he's just not in enough of the film to make an impact. That's the reality of it. And of course, Stallone is obviously not in that much of the movie either to make any sort of an impact. So I can't really hold much against him here, except for I don't know if the film suffers because he's in it or not in it. I think the film just suffers in general from some things, from just not being interesting. It felt like they wanted to make a fourth Expendables film. They didn't really know what to do. And Stallone's list of people who wanted to do an Expendables film had kind of run out. And apparently nobody wanted to come back. So gone are the days of all the people he collected over the last three films. And we're left with Jason, Dolph, and Randy. And it's sad. So God, they couldn't even get Terry Crews. They couldn't get. I'm thinking about the people. I can't remember if any. I don't think any of these people actually died. But yeah, it's not a great way to close out the franchise. As a matter of fact, I think there's life left in this franchise. Hear me out. Don't shut off yet. What I think needs to happen. It's not going to be great, but WWE oftentimes has made films before specifically for their WWE audience. I would just take Expendables 5. I think Randy Couture is he was MMA or World Wrestling or whatever. Make him the new lead of the franchise and then just pump it full of wrestlers. Just put a whole bunch of people in there from the WWE and sell it to WWE fans. And I think people would like that. Like the audience for that is there. But right now, people are just like, why are these people, why are 50 Cent and Megan Fox here? I felt that a little bit in the last film with, I was like, why are you padding this film with, Glenn Powell? At a time before Top Gun Maverick. It's like, why is he in this? And here, it's the same thing. It's like, there are people in here that you don't think of action star. Andy Garcia, I don't think of as action star. So, yeah, it's not. It's also not the worst thing I've seen this year. So there's that as well. So disappointing for me. I think this kind of reminds me, and I hate to say it because I don't want to compare these two franchises. But it's like I liked the first three Toy Story films cohesively as a unit. And then there's 4. You know what I'm saying? 4 is this other thing that I don't want to mess with it. I didn't need it to exist. It doesn't need to be there. It doesn't make me happy. There's nothing about it that I really liked. It just kind of reminded me of why we should have ended at 3. And that's kind of where we're at with Expendables 4, is it just kind of feels like if this was what you were going to do with it, I'd rather you not. I'd rather you had waited. I'd rather you sat on it. I'd rather have a legacy sequel 20 years later with, I don't know, the family Stallone for the reality series, something, but no. And audio description wise, it's really well described. It's deluxe. They're doing a great job. I gotta say, Laura Post was not the narrator I was I was thinking, considering uh, you know, the first two voices were these sort of gruff gruff belly man. Travis with his crappy Expendables 2 balancing and narration, and then into Ron Snow, who did the third film and did an excellent job, and then Laura Post. That was not the voice I was expecting to hear in this film at all. Although she does everything, so I should probably have at least thought that there was like a 10% chance that she was going to be the narrator. Um, but yeah, not really the person I think of when I think of like high action and explosions and everything. And that kind of goes back to sometimes choosing the right person can make a world of difference. I love Laura Post, and I think she does amazing work on a lot of things. But she took a film that was already dying, and then we brought in sort of her. She has a lighter approach to lighter touch. It just is. This is a film that needed needed the help of somebody like William Michael Redmond to come in and make it seem like it was more hardcore than it actually was. You know, it needed somebody to be like, and now they're going in. They're walking real slow and we don't know what they're doing. You know, I needed somebody to make it sound like something interesting was happening on screen. And Laura just gave me what we need, what we basically need, which is following the action and trying to follow the action sequences. And as a blind audience, we'll have no idea what this looks like, whether or not the special effects look any finished, or whether or not the fight sequences look good. So yeah, I'm a best case scenario for this film in terms of getting a review out of a critic. But even for me, I was like, you guys just repeated the third film. You just brought in new people who got them caught and captured, and then the old team, which in this case is just Jason Statham, has to go in and rescue them. That was the plot of the third film. You can't just reuse the same plot over and over. Anyway, and they've already been betrayed once before, by the way. So having somebody, when they're sitting around and they're like, oh, somebody must have betrayed us. That's like, God damn it. And of course, they all looked at Dolph Lundgren, and he's like, "It's not me this time." I'm like, just why did we make a fourth film if we didn't know why we were making it? You know, just come on. Anyway, it's nothing great. It's not the worst film I've seen this year. Jason Statham made sure of that. I will say that Jason Statham comes in pretty clutch here. uh his value needs to not be underestimated, and by calling it the worst film of the year, it is like, have I seen films with like less redeemable factors in it? Absolutely. I've seen films where I'm like, I don't know who is in this film and who to save this. I hated The Family Plan. I hated that movie. I hated everybody in it. I didn't think anything about that movie was good. Nothing. This, at least I can go, well, Jason Statham was good. So, um, and we do need more Tony Jaa movies. We do. I don't know why he never really truly crossed over into American cinema, but I know he's got fans, but he definitely, I don't know that he has blind fans, because I don't know that his films are accessible to blind audiences. Um, so I don't know what's up with that. But, or if does the Raid have audio description? I don't know. Do blind people know who these people are in these kung fu movies? We get such a low amount of foreign language titles with audio description. I'm not even sure if people know, like conceptually understand how awesome these people are. So I'm going to give the Expendables 4 C minus. So that would be, it's a thumbs down. It's, if I was an RT critic, I would give it a rotten, but I would not give it a low rotten. This is not the worst thing I've seen this year. But then again, I've also seen over 200 films in 2023. So there you go. Um, when you've seen that many movies, you've definitely seen some shit. Uh, anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I I love subscribers, and please continue to click subscribe. But I'm also very grateful because I hit my year-end goal, and now I'm working on next year's goal. So if you click subscribe now, you'll be helping me towards next year, and making next year more of an attainable goal. Um, so thanks for being here. Hope you had a great 2023 with me. You can go to macthemovieguy.com, follow me on X, Threads, or Instagram at MacTheMovieGuy. Always go to the audio description project, adp.acb.org. It'll let you know what has audio description and where you can watch it. And you can go to the ADNA.org. That's the ADNA.org. It'll let you know more about Laura Post. You can type her in and see what other films she's narrated. It might break the server at this point. I'm sure it's not even everything because it sort of is like user uploaded. But damn, she's on everything. Like you got like a 1 in 4 chance that the film is being narrated by Laura Post. So anyway, that's it. I will watch something else and see you guys on the other side.